What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic night. I myself am still pretty beat up, so if I just start slandering or drifting off the sea, pull me back now, folks. Pull me back. But I appreciate each and every one of you tuning in, reaching out yesterday. Everything, you guys are awesome. Hopefully, you were able to catch that final video of the night when we finally got Jalen Hurts cap hits, fixed up all the numbers that I had messed up. I told you I'd messed something up yesterday. I was feeling a little rough, but hey, look, we got all the actual numbers. We know everything that's going on. Hopefully, you were able to catch all that stuff, but we're back on the horse, baby, and we're going through this draft series. We're going to go through each damn position. We've gotten through most of them. We've got the linebackers here tonight, and then, of course, we'll finish up with the corners and safeties. But look, man, a lot of great prospects that we've talked about at each position so far. So if you haven't caught any of those, go back, check them out. Let me know how you feel. But the same thing for each of these positions. We look at all of the prospects. We have them. I have them in tiers, have them ranked within those tiers. And then we talk about what the Eagles have at that position. And then, of course, the top 10 best fits. So let's jump into this, baby. I appreciate each and every one of you. You have any questions, comments, feel free to drop them down below. Oh, my man Anthony, he likes that cover photo. Let's go. What's up, my man Sean? Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic night. Now, you have anything on your mind, feel free to drop it down below, but I'm going to get this train moving here. And we're going to take a look at these linebackers. Don't worry, there's not a ghost in here. That is my dog, Herschel, just dancing around. But look, we're going to take a look at these prospects. We'll start it off with the more seventh-round undrafted tier. Wanted to at least have about 50 guys here, at least, that we were able to look at here. And there's some talented linebackers in this draft, but there's quite a drop-off. And I think, you could definitely find a diamond in the rough in this draft because there's a lot of guys that are, projects or, have high upside and probably won't go too high in the draft, but hey, maybe you find something. And there were definitely some interesting guys here. Bumper Pool, a little undersized, so didn't necessarily want to, go too deep with him, but there's definitely a lot of guys. If there's anyone you see there that you're a fan of, a Jeremy Banks, Dallas Gant, I like Abraham Beauplan actually as well. He's one of those project guys, but somebody that's undrafted, maybe the Eagles could go out and grab. But that's the lower tier guys. Then we start moving up. Got more of a fifth, sixth round grade on these guys, but they could definitely drop too. Some of these guys I mentioned, Ivan Pace, Mohamed Diabate. I think these guys could definitely be, edge rushers as well, but I'm so torn on what they could do. They're talented guys. Just have them listed here as well. But you see some of these guys, I think. And look, not to say someone can't take them in the fourth, but some of these dudes could definitely drop as well. So let's take a look at some of these higher tier guys where I think third, fourth round grades for these guys. And look, you could find yourself a stud. And we're going to talk about a lot of these guys actually. So I'll save that for a little bit here. But I've got two guys ranked as first, second round grades. But look, if you're looking for a linebacker, you could definitely take one of these guys in the first round, maybe late first round. Not sure anybody's going too high, but Trenton Simpson and Jack Campbell, and they're both badass dudes. And yeah, we're going to talk about them. So I'll save that, but you see how I have them ranked. You see the tiers, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. However you have these guys ranked, grades you have on them, whatever is on your mind, let me hear it. But that is just to give you a look at what we're dealing with here. Now we'll take a look at what the Eagles have at the position. Then we'll talk about the top 10 best fits from those lists. So let's go. But I appreciate all of you. Like Dorian reminds me of Davian Taylor, but hopefully he can stay healthy. Yeah, no doubt. For favorite linebacker in this draft is D. Winters, but not sure he's really a fit. Look, D. Winters is on that. Obviously, most of these guys are going to be on there, and he was somebody I was looking at. Not so sure he's a great fit either, but he was one of those guys that doesn't really need to be. Even an undrafted kid, if they like what he brings to the table, hey, why not? So, look, there's a lot of options there. And again, if the Eagles don't go with, one of the second or maybe third round picks on one of these guys, then maybe you just find someone in the seventh or go with one of those undrafted guys. So we'll talk about that here in a second, but let's take a look at the Eagles linebackers, what they have here. And get a feel for why we need to put a little bit of an emphasis on that linebacker position. So you can see here, we obviously brought in Nicholas Morrow. So if the season were to start tomorrow, I think you all know that he would probably be that starting linebacker next to Nakobe Dean. And all very excited about Nakobe Dean's future. We talked about him even when we drafted him last year because of the fact that, well, we were going to add, somebody in the draft I was hopeful of because, of the fact that we're going to have free agents. And look, man, this is something we knew of. And yes, we lost Kaiser. Yes, we lost TJ. But for me, man, I'll be honest with you. I think that this team, they don't put too much of an emphasis on linebacker because they get by. But with Sean Desai coming in, I think they will put a little bit of an emphasis here. Sean Bradley, Christian Ellis, Davian Taylor as your depth pieces. I'm a big fan of Sean Bradley. I'm hopeful for Davian Taylor, but on the practice squad last year, Christian Ellis made his way onto the active roster at the end of the season, was really helpful as a special teamer. Sean Bradley gets hurt. He was helping on defense. So, I mean, not much, but I'm just saying he provides that depth. So, look, you've got guys there, but I feel more comfortable. You bring in a starting caliber guy and you have Morrow as that depth piece, and maybe you run some 3 linebacker sets. You've got Morrow in there as well, but he could obviously be in a sort of rotation. But look, for me, I think that you definitely want to add somebody in this draft. And not to say that I don't like the addition of Nicholas Morrow, and not to say that we couldn't, during the draft or after the draft, maybe trade for someone like a Devin White or a Patrick Queen. So keep those things in mind, but let's take a gander at these top 10 fits. And this, this is ridiculous most of the time because I'm not doing a top 10 list. What I'm doing is, trying to make the fits, and it's ridiculous. Now, when I was looking at guys like, mentioned D winners, I'm looking for more of someone with better coverage skills. And not to say that all these guys I'm about to show you are like the best in coverage or anything, and we'll talk about that, but it's one of the, prerequisites before I add them into a certain list, because I've already got like a chunk of guys I really want to talk about. And then it's like, okay, now we got to decide from the rest. So did not make the list, but this last guy that I did put on here, I could really have just talked about him during the edge rushers, because I think he can definitely become one of those guys, but he's 6'2", 229. So a little undersized, not to say that, he can't do certain things, can't put on weight and, get to where he's going. But look, this kid out of Jackson State, he transferred from Missouri, and I like this kid. Now, he's not the fastest. He runs like a 4.7, but he is really good at a lot of things. His coverage, that's one of the things I talked about. Sure, he might look like a pass rusher, but this guy, I really could see him as one of those dudes with Sean Desai's defense. He can provide depth as a Sam linebacker. You could use him as a defensive end at times. You could use him as a will linebacker in certain packages. So I really think that this guy, he's instinctive. He reads the plays well, and he reads and reacts. That's something that I have a note on here for him. But again, he's good against the run. So you think, you could put him on the edge there. He's got great hand usage. So I think for me, bulking up a little bit, doing some things, he could definitely help out. But this guy has a skill set and coverage ability that he really could help you as, I want to say a middle linebacker, but an inside linebacker in some of those odd fronts, I think. And that brings something to the table where the defense doesn't know, because he could be a blitzing linebacker, somebody dropping into coverage. So I like what he brings to the table. I think obviously, he needs to work on his tackling, putting on a little bit, but he's not exactly somebody I want in man coverage, but in that zone, I think somebody like Aubrey Miller, undrafted, why not? So I always try to bring up somebody, in that undrafted pool for you, just to try to, get a feel for what's going on. Now, when there's a star next to the missed tackles, that's because PFF only has the last 3 years of stats like that. So didn't get anything too crazy there. But look, Aubrey Miller, man, he's the real deal. He's even played some box safety. So I think you can put him all over. He's a weapon. That's what's so fun about him. Now, again, he's not the fastest guy, but I'm telling you, he's fun to watch, and I would love to have him. Now, up next, Dorian Williams out of Tulane. Now, I'm a big fan of this young man as well. Now, coming in at 6'1", 228, this guy, he's 21 years old. He's got plenty of time to grow, put on some meat there, but man, he runs a 4.49 40. He's fast as hell. He's got great coverage, decent in the pass rush. I like his tackling. I think he's somebody that if the Eagles were to add him, and again, right now I'm looking a little more toward, that undrafted kind of range. This guy, I'm thinking, yeah, fifth round, maybe fourth round, even he could go. I think this kid's pretty effing talented. So I'm going to jump around. The last guy was undrafted. This guy's fifth. So not going in any specific order, but I'll let you know where I feel these guys could go. But look, Dorian Williams for me, somebody that obviously he's going to stand out with that kind of effing speed. But 4 years at Tulane there. So you see that asterisk there next to the 32. So I only have 3 years worth of missed tackles there. But Dorian Williams, man, another guy that is so versatile. Not only can he help you on the line, he can help you as a coverage guy, one of those nickel or dime linebackers. He has played some box safety as well. This dude, he has the coverage skills. He has the skill set to do all those things. So that is something you'd like to see in a linebacker, sideline to sideline kind of linebacker. And this is a guy that, I think actually has great IQ, being that middle guy there. And I think he would be perfect for this defense with his athletic ability. And I just think, he's a big dude. Go check him out. He looks, 6'1", 228. But if you look at him, man, he looks like a linebacker. So you got to take all that stuff with a grain of salt. Everybody's different here. But I really think that, he kind of looks like a monstrous defensive back. So maybe even at sometimes, he gets to be that third safety, man. And we've talked about having that 3 safety set. And for me, that nickel linebacker kind of guy, I think Dorian Williams, he could do a lot of things for this defense. And I would be all aboard. Now up next, Noah Sewell. Now I know a lot of people, he's going to be one of the, and obviously you guys saw where I had these guys in tiers and ranks. This is not me ranking who is better here. Just kind of, a feel for better fits. Now, Noah Sewell, I think he would be a pretty damn good fit. And I think for me, he's another guy that brings that edge rushing ability, and he brings it pretty damn well. So he could definitely be a blitzing linebacker, maybe even use him as one of those edge rushers, maybe Sam linebacking role. I think he does a lot. Helps you in the run. He's got decent coverage ability. But this is a guy you probably have to take with that third round pick. So not sure that's a fit for me. I just don't know that we need to go in the third round on someone like Noah Sewell. Now, again, he's got a great high motor. He's great on the edge there. So for me, he brings that kind of Sam linebacker mold I'm looking for, that athleticism he's got. And, he really can help you as one of those interior linebackers too in Sean Desai's defense. So he's got the athletic ability. I think, again, though, that pass rushing, that really brings something. So maybe somebody sees something different and wants to use him differently. But for me, I just think that he really he just needs to bulk up and become an edge rusher, because I think he could be a stud doing that. But look, linebackers in today's game, they love them to be versatile. So I'm not here to say what he's going to do in the NFL, but the kid's got effing talent. He's only 20 years old. So I would happily add him. We could test him out as a Sam linebacker, defensive end, have him all over the place. You could have him as the Mike, try all kinds of things. I would be a happy young man. Now, Noah Sewell, again, I think, maybe around the third round, he's a 4.64 guy running the 40. So he's got it. He's got a lot of talent, man, but linebacker's going to be interesting to see. So maybe he falls. Maybe we acquire a 4th round pick. Well, only time will tell. Now, up next, I effing love this dude, DeMarvion Overshown. And if you go watch this dude, he's all over the place. He's somebody that, this is the kind of linebacker I want on this damn team. So you're looking at a guy, 6'3", 229, 22 years old. And look, he runs a 4.5, 640. He's got some speed. He's got decent coverage ability. He's all across the board, man. He can pass rush. He does good in tackling, good against the run. Now, he's not like excelling in any of those things. So he's not somebody that I feel is going to go too high. But if you could acquire like a 5th or 6th round pick in this draft, you grab him. Maybe he falls to one of those 7th round picks. That would be nuts. I would happily take this young man and add him to the Eagles linebacking core, because you talk about just that speed, but he's got great coverage ability. He can stay with those tight ends. That's something you want to see. His athleticism, his frame, you see he's 6'3", but 229, I'd like him to bulk up a little bit. But again, man, these are young men coming into the NFL. I think he needs to work on his awareness, though. I definitely saw him getting stuck a couple times. Got to work on his blitzing. Definitely some things, getting off the block. Certain things I saw that for me, he's got a lot of work. So I could see him falling, but man, with that athletic ability, his speed, I really feel that you would be getting a stud here. So somebody like a DeMarvion Overshown, I think, man, if he falls, happy to get him. Again, if you acquire any of those picks in those mid rounds, be happy for that. But this is a guy you can play all over. Another weapon, played some box safety, helps you on the line. I mean, he does it all. So another project where maybe he's your Mike, maybe he's your Will, maybe he's your Sam, maybe he's just your nickel safety. Dime safety, all kinds of stuff where you could see this kid being played because he is effing talented. And depending on the matchup, think, obviously he could get used a lot if he fills his potential. Now, filling out this bottom 5 here, let's get into Dion, Henley. I even told myself, don't jack this up, dude. Dion Henley, man. Sorry, dude. Almost said Diane at first. Okay. So we're moving along here. And another dude, freak athlete who played a lot of safety, can help you, man, as a corner, can help you as D-line. He has done everything. 6'1", 225. So little undersized, I know. But again, I don't really care. Now, he played 5 years at Nevada before transferring to Washington State. So he's actually got 6 years under his belt. If you're looking at those stats, oh, geez, because, 6 years of college will do that for you. But this young man, I really like him. Another guy, I think, maybe in the 3rd round. And if not, maybe drops in the 4th, you acquire one of those picks. I wouldn't be against it. Another sideline to sideline guy that I think he's got all the pieces you want. He's really good in coverage. That's what I'm looking for in this defense, the zone coverage, but it's match zone coverage, and you've got to have the athleticism to be able to do that. And not exactly a blitzing guy. I think he actually is pretty decent at it, but some things he could work on, of course. But his versatility, man, just that in itself, you want to add a guy like this, and he helps you. He does great on special teams too. So as soon as you draft him, he's going to be helping you somewhere. But look, I love his coverage ability as a linebacker, and I think that as much as he needs some work, for me, man, put on a little bit of weight. Let's get you going here, baby. I would happily take Henley on the Philadelphia Eagles. But that was the bottom 5 of the top 10 best fits. Let me hear your thoughts. You like any of these guys? You don't like any of these guys? Whatever it may be. What is going on with this effing camera? Somebody said a comment the other day. They're like, oh, you need a new camera. I was like, I need a lot of things, man. I was like, you see that tip button down there? There's also my PayPal. I was like, you want to get a new camera? I'll happily take it, man. But appreciate all you guys bearing with me here. But yes, he is, man. I'm a big fan. So somebody I think, would happily come into this defense and do a lot of great things. Mind you, TJ, in what way would that be? I think he brings something TJ couldn't. I think, he's going to do a lot better in coverage if given the opportunity. He could grow into that. That's something TJ is never going to be great with. Now, TJ, you guys all know he was my undrafted kid the year we brought him in. Loved him. Big fan of his, but a great against the run. Needed to work on those coverage skills. He did. And we put him in a position to do great things. He did, but obviously had his struggles as well. But I think for me, this is more of what you're looking for in those linebackers. I think that's why they happily let go of TJ Edwards. Henry 202. Yeah. Look, yeah, he has long hair, no doubt. And I think that, he's decent, but I didn't put him on my list. Henley is a stud for sure. So I like Drew as well, but there was a lot of guys. So Drew was a pass rusher the year before. I think he spent 2 years in, Alabama, I want to say. And then or was it Auburn? And then he transferred to Arkansas where he became a linebacker. And he honestly looked better as a linebacker than he did as an edge rusher. So I'll talk about him in a second. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this top 5 here. And this was hard, I'm telling you, because there were actually a lot of guys in those mid rounds, later rounds that didn't really know if I wanted to leave certain people off. But I'm like, nope, have to get these certain guys because of what they bring to the table. So let's jump right into it with Owen Beppo. And this dude, I really like him out of Auburn. And look, he's 6 foot, 225. I know you guys are probably like, why are you picking these undersized guys? But I'm looking for a certain mold here with certain range. So listen to what I'm saying. You'll understand why I want these certain guys, and then you'll see why I want a certain select other few. Now, this young man, now he's got 4.3940. Holy shit. And this dude's awesome in coverage. I think he could sneak into third, but if you acquire one of those fourth, maybe fifth round picks and this dude's here, you effing go get him. I don't care how small he is. This dude, I really love his game. And for his size, he is a tackling effing machine. He brings something with the pass rush. Decent against the run. He can work on wrapping up a little bit, but I think his support and awareness is what needs to be worked on. But his coverage, love it, dude. I think that this kid, he is going to be a steal for somebody. But look, again, just a freak athlete at that size. And against the run and pass, he is serviceable enough that if you get him in those rounds, you're going to be happy with what you get. He is a heavy hitting dude. I think that for me, he's got that twitch and athleticism and toughness that you really want to look for in a linebacker with the skill set we're looking for. He's got the high IQ. So somebody that you can put on the edge at Sam. There's some things you can do at will with him, and he could be one of those inside linebackers and odd fronts. I think his coverage ability, rushing ability, his tackle. I mean, he's got all of it, man. But you got to give him some more strength, pound on some more size, dude. Now, I've seen him listed as 6'1", but dude, he's 6 foot. I think clearly that's going to, get people a little bit. He does, bite on some plays at times too. Seen him get his ankles broken, but look, I think that if he falls because of those things, I would happily add him as one of those projects in the room. Now, up next, I love this dude. I really do, but it's really weird where to put him. Now, we talked about him briefly yesterday, as an edge rusher. And look, I'll be real with you. He is phenomenal as an edge rusher at Wisconsin. I thought, a killer, dude. But his size is obviously a concern for a lot of people. Now, for me, I get it. I totally do. But his skill set as a whole, his 4.65 speed was at 6'2", 240. He's got good size, but I understand where they say he's undersized, but it's like, bro, that's the size of Hassan Reddick, man. He could play a Sam linebacker for the Eagles. He could be perfect for the Eagles. He could drop into coverage. He can do all of these things that we have talked about, and think you could get him with that third round pick. If you acquire a fourth, he drops. Maybe you want to do that, but this is somebody we've been talking about for a long time. I don't give a damn what they say about him, man. He's really good in that coverage. So you hear people complain, oh, it's like, no, dude, this is a good thing. You want him dropping in coverage, bringing those disguises, but the way his motor, him going after quarterbacks, he is one of the most fun people to watch. And he's got great quickness. I just think that the way he comes off the edge is going to get him a job. But the way he can cover, the way he accelerates, the things he does, it's going to give someone, hope that, man, we can make a project out of this kid. Maybe he helps you as an inside linebacker at times. Maybe you just bring him on to the team because he's got so much talent that you just can't resist. So I think that this dude, there's been some knocks with his missed tackles. I, of course, could not find the numbers for that, but he's had some issues there. And there's been some things, with his point of attack, but I don't care, man. He's 21 years old, 6'2", 240 pounds. And with his athletic skill set, the people he has helping him, I think that this kid is going to become a stud. And yes, that is Nate Erbig's little brother. And I really like this dude, big fan of his. And I almost wanted to put him higher, but he's just really more of an edge rusher. And look, I talked about him yesterday during that edge rusher show, but I really think with his skill set, you could use him however you see fit. So if Sean Desai, once they bulk him up, figure it out, he's an inside linebacker that can blitz well. Okay. He becomes a Sam linebacker off the edge who drops into coverage sometimes. Perfectly fine with that as well. So a lot of options for Nick Erbig. Whoever gets him is getting a stud. I'm a big fan of Nick Erbig. Now, at number 3, guy we were just talking about, Drew Sanders. And this dude, 4.66 speed, so almost the same speed there as Nick Erbig, but 6'4", 235 pounds. And around the same range, I would say, in the draft you're looking. It really depends what you're looking for. But as I had mentioned a second ago when the question was asked, he did spend 2 years at Alabama before transferring to Arkansas. And he was playing more of an edge rusher at Alabama. And he really can play edge rusher. Do not mistake what I'm saying here. I think the dude is very talented, but he's another one of these guys that you could have him playing a little safety in certain roles. You have that Arkansas used him all over the effing place, man. They had him lined up in the slot. They had him on the line. They had him in box safety roles. Dude, he was doing it all. So for me, this guy, I think he's really talented, and moving around maybe didn't benefit him, but that just goes to show you like how much promise he still has. So for me, adding a guy like Drew Sanders to this team, it would be a no-brainer. I think that he really, man, if there weren't confusion about what he played, he could really be one of the studs in this draft. Now, again, I think probably just third round, but he's got great, the way he handles his, change of direction. He's got so much versatility with the skill set that I just talked about there, and he's a lot tougher than people think. So I think that he brings so much to the table that people are missing, because I think he's an edge rusher that, for me, yeah, he's got a lot of work as a linebacker. He's not the greatest in tackling, his awareness, all those things. But 1 year there, really playing an off-ball linebacker, he did great for me. So I think Drew Sanders would be a great addition. He and Nick Herbig, I think either one, projects where you could try him as a Sam linebacker. They're edge rushing, they're dropping into coverage. I mean, there's a lot of things you could do with them, but I really like the prototype of those guys, and I think the Eagles would happily take either of them. So would not be against any of that. Hey, my man, Drew in the building. Better late than never. Let's go. I hope you're doing well, though, my man. Appreciate you tuning in. Same goes to you, William. Hope you are doing well, my man. Billy loves the undersized one because hey, and look, we talked about, one of the things I've mentioned is I don't necessarily want one of those guys because we kind of already have them, but we're looking for depth too. We're looking for guys that can come in and be something, for the future. So those guys we just talked about, that's kind of where they're at. The next guys I'm going to talk about, they're going to be in a completely different role here. So remember when we drafted 5'10" linebacker, we always go, yeah, man, I know. That's what I'm talking about. We're looking for fits here. So we shall see. My man, John Blackbow. Yo, glad that we caught up with each other and we're able to, because, dude, that was so weird to me. I was like, man, this is a really cool comment. I typed out this whole effing paragraph and I hit reply and it's like, there's nothing to reply. And I'm like, what the? So I don't know, but F you, YouTube. You and Drew could have a great conversation about how much YouTube sucks. But appreciate you all tuning in. Lived in Arkansas. Rarely any talent comes through. Yeah, I've seen a lot of really good players actually come from Arkansas. But okay, so we're going to move it along at number 2. You know my top 2, but let's talk about them. Jack Campbell. And look, either one of these guys I am perfectly happy with. And we talked about it. Maybe you see these guys at the, end of first round. Not so sure I want to go with Jack Campbell at pick 30. Maybe you trade that second round pick, move up and get him. Maybe you have traded that 10th or that 30th. You've moved back, acquired more picks. Maybe I feel a little bit more comfortable taking him. I know a lot of people feel he goes in the first. That's perfectly fine. Don't care. I don't know. I wouldn't be mad at it. I'm not going to lie to you. I really think Jack Campbell is an effing stud. And, he's got that same 4.65 speed as those other guys. But this dude, he tackles. He is awesome against the run. He's great in coverage. And he's not somebody that I'm confused about as an edge rusher. Now, he can definitely blitz. He can get after the quarterback. But this dude is a middle effing linebacker. This is the guy that you put Nakobe Dean next to him. Holy shit. I would be pretty excited about that. But this dude's an effing monster. Look at it. 6'5", 6'4". You've seen different, wings and measurements there. So whatever. But I've got him at 6'5", 249. And with a 4.65 speed at that size, holy. I mean, and the dude plays violent as hell. And you guys know that's one of my favorite things about a player. And if you've watched him, you know exactly what I mean. And as I said, I'm not confused about him being an edge rusher, but he can get on the edge and he can attack. And that's something I love about this dude. And he's got great football IQ. You watch him reading and reacting. I think it's something he does very well. He's so versatile. You can move him at all the linebacker positions. You can move him wherever the hell you want. And I think that, he's got some knocks, his injury, obviously that knee injury in 2022. I think, maybe some of his coverage because of that, some things, hey, his hands, I think the usage of it, I think he's got the right idea. He just needs a little bit of coaching up, and that's perfectly fine. I think we could do just well there. But this is a guy that, again, you move all over the place, and he's such a physical specimen. Imagine him and then Nakobe Dean, the complete opposite. Not to say that, Nakobe Dean isn't a sideline to sideline aggressive kind of guy, but more of that, weak side linebacker, whereas he could really fill out as that middle linebacker. And man, I would be effing thrilled about that because Jack Campbell is a stud. Now, if we're taking somebody at 30, again, I'd probably go with a lot of the other people I've talked about at 30. But if you can acquire this guy, you've already gotten some of the pieces we like. Maybe we've traded back. Maybe, you're sitting at 38 or something. Maybe I feel a little bit more comfortable. Maybe you traded back to 44 even, and he's falling there. He could go even further. I have no idea. But for me, this is the number one fit for the Philadelphia Eagles, Trenton Simpson. And look, I think, 4.43 speed. That's obviously awesome. But we talk about, you take all that stuff with a grain of salt. Dude, to take that as he's fast as hell. 6'2", 235. Don't care if anyone feels that's undersized. He's like 5 pounds lighter than Hassan Reddick. Okay, so just giving you an idea there of what this dude can do. And this dude, he can do a whole hell of a lot. He is quick as hell. He's got that burst you want to see out of a guy like him. Another, obviously, freak athlete. You're obviously noticing the trend here with these guys, but he's got that read and react. I think you watch him, when he's going up against guys, he's got that violent tackling. He's got great, I think when you watch him react, when you see someone misdirection plays, things like that, watch his eyes. I think this kid, he's got great awareness. It's something I noticed. And I think, he's got great pursuit. Somebody that he's just a freak athlete. You watch him out there, man. And look, he's not exactly a blitzing linebacker, somebody you're sending like that, but he's got great coverage skills. He does it all, and he does it all well. So his coverage, it could be worked on. You definitely want to give him some help there. I'm not saying, but with his athleticism, his speed, everything he's got, I think that this dude could do just fine. His run defense, love it. Tackling could use a little help. His blitzing, as I had mentioned, but that's just to give you an idea of a couple of knocks on him. But other than that, this dude, he benched like 25 times. He had like a 118 broad jump, 7.07 3-cone, a 40.5-inch vertical, 1.55 10-yard dash. Dude, this guy does not mess around. He is a freak athlete. And look, the Eagles, we clearly have a need there, and we want to be cheap there. So if you want to be cheap there, you sign a veteran like we talked about a month ago. We did that, and then you draft someone. So you've got the guy that's going to be hopefully the eventual starter. You don't have to throw him into the fire. Nicholas Morrow can do that for now, but I can assure you, if you draft Trenton Simpson, he's going to beat him out eventually, and I would be ecstatic to have Simpson and Dean next to each other in this Eagles defense because we're looking for that different. We've talked about almost the same thing as what Jonathan Gannon was looking for. We're going to see a lot of differences, but a lot of things similar in this defense. So you want coverage guys, you want athletic guys, and I think we just looked at a lot of them there that I would be truly, truly happy with. I'm not going to lie to you. As long as I get to see our players smack some people around, that's all I ever like to see. And a lot of those guys I just mentioned there will definitely knock your effing lights out. But ladies and gentlemen, that is all I've got for you tonight. That was the top linebacker prospects, the top fits, and what the Eagles got going on at the linebacker position. But I would love to hear your thoughts, whether you're watching this live, watching this later. But I'll be back hoping tomorrow. Tomorrow's a really busy day for me, but hoping to drop that cornerback show. It might be around like 9 if it is. If not, I'll get it the next day. I promise you, we'll get this finished for the weekend. So cornerbacks and then safeties, and we're done, baby. But if you missed any of those shows, go check them out. I would love to hear your thoughts. Every time you guys comment or like or subscribe, whatever you're doing, it truly helps me build this damn thing. So I cannot thank you enough for all of the support. You have any questions, anything on your mind, just let me hear it, man. Who do you love from this list? Who do you hate from this list? Whatever is on your mind. Highly doubt linebackers coming at first or second rounds. Yes, that is why I have them listed as 1 or 2. But Yes, I do not highly doubt they are graded first-round talents for a reason because they are that talented. So, really enjoyed a lot of those guys. If you liked any of them, let me know how you feel. If you do not like them, let me know how you feel, whatever it may be. But until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all have yourselves a great night. And as always, go Birds!